Hey y'all, today we're going to be talking about Mercury, and I'm saving the Ascendant because that's like a fun one, and delayed gratification and all that. So Mercury is also fun though, and I'm excited to get into it. So what does it mean? Like when you look at your birth chart, those astrology heads, like that astrology obsessed friend that you have that's like, oh my god, what sign is your Mercury in? Oh my god, she's such an Aries Mercury, like, and you're just sitting there like, what does this mean? I don't get it. Sounds like gibberish, and I'm here to explain it to you. So, different planets in your birth chart represent different parts of your personality. So, the planets are kind of like, if you are a house, the planets, and when I say planets, it's like a general term. I'm not like this. These aren't technical terms. Like, the sun is not a planet, the moon's not a planet, but I'm just gonna be using the term planets, and like, please just fill in the blanks, okay? So, if the planets are like, if you are a house, the planets are the rooms in the house, and then the sign that they're in is like how they're decorated. And so yeah, it's kind of the vibes. And Mercury is it's the room in you that is in charge of communication, ideas, and essentially your brain, your mind, and the way that you think is Mercury. And yeah, pretty much our Mercury sign just has to do with those things. It's also like how we learn and just our intellect. So if the sun is kind of your personality and the moon is your emotions, Mercury is your intellect and the way that you think and all of that. So if you use an example, let me hold off on the example real quick. Gemini is the sign that is ruled by Mercury. So, Geminis are like, their main traits, like a Gemini sun, like personality traits would be very intelligent, very quick, and very easy flowing, easygoing, go with the flow. Very communicative, a lot of friends usually, loves to talk, loves to discuss, loves to inform, very informative, absorbs information really well. Like these things, this is what describes a Gemini, which is a Mercury ruled sign. Also, Virgo is also ruled by Mercury. My brain always goes to Gemini for whatever reason, but it is indeed also the sign that rules Virgo, or the planet that rules Virgo. So Virgo is also extremely intelligent, but they use their intelligence for more practical manners. So like a Gemini is going to use their intelligence just kind of for the sake of learning and like just for the sake of it, but like a Virgo is going to put their intelligence to like practical use. So, very organized, structured, good at following rules. Also, like, easygoing in that way, but, they can get more obsessive and more particular and structured, whereas a Gemini is going to flow through more because it's an air sign as opposed to an earth sign. So if this helps kind of understand what Mercury represents, that's kind of like what it is. So what is it when we see in our birth chart or Mercury? It kind of shows like how do we think. And if your Mercury, so Mercury's often going to be the same sign as your sun sign, and it is always going to be either the same sign, the sign before, or the sign after. And this just is because of the way that the planets move in the sky. Is because it's not, Mercury is a fast moving planet. It moves like as fast, it moves close to the sun, so it's not gonna deter too far away, no more than one sign away in your birth time. Like, no one has ever been born with a Mercury sign that's 2 signs away from their sun sign, ever or more, you know what I mean? So it's always going to be close to your sun sign, like very close. It could be completely different from like your moon and your rising, but with your sun, like it'll be either the same sign or a neighboring sign. So for people who have Mercury as the same sign of their sun sign, the way that our intellect works is pretty attuned with like who we are as people. So say somebody is like like an Aquarius sun and an Aquarius Mercury, so they'll be kind of able to communicate who they are and like express themselves more naturally and easily, whereas someone with like an Aquarius sun and a Pisces Mercury will need to get more creative in expressing themselves, because the way that their brain works is a little bit different from like the way that they are as people. So the way that they think is going to be different from who they actually are. So they might need to work a little harder to be understood and feel like seen and heard, so yeah, and people might kind of like misconstrue, like not fully get a hold of who they are because of the way that they talk and think is different from who they are. So if your sign is the same, if your Mercury is the same as your sun, and hopefully this isn't too complicated, I was like thinking I might kind of redo this series in a more beginner-friendly way, but I'm going to be talking more like advanced terms. And, we'll figure it out together, and I'll have a game plan. So if your sun sign is the same as your Mercury, like they're both going to be either positive or negative. So like the positive signs are the air and fire signs, and the negative signs are the earth and water signs. So like if it's the same, if you're a water sun and a water Mercury, they'll both be in a negative sign. If you're a water sun and an air Mercury, they will be in they'll be negative and positive. Now you would think like negative, positive, that's good, that's like yin yang kind of vibes, like it seems ideal, right? But actually the negative signs get along better with each other and the positive signs get along better with each other, just because the way that they process things is compatible and similar, rather than a negative and positive, one might see the other as two like one is going to be outgoing. It's like very opposites. Like one will be outgoing and like more like positive masculine signs, and the other will be more introverted. But like if you think about it, like a lot of introverts tend to be friends, and like extroverts tend to be friends with each other rather than like mixing. But it all depends, and like I think that having a different Mercury from the sun is like beautiful because it just adds some spice and variety. But having the same sign could just make things a little easier sometimes because it forms this aspect called conjunction, which I will do a series on. But it forms an aspect called conjunctions, and conjunctions just make it easier to conjunctions just make the energy of whatever sign they're in more powerful, and like they're aligned with each other, so they're very similar. So that's just something that I thought was like relevant in terms of Mercury signs and just understanding them, just understanding where they are in the map and all of that. Because, you'll hear it everywhere, like, it's the way you think, it's the way that you talk. You can find that information anywhere, but I guess I want to go a little bit deeper here. What else can I say about Mercury? It's the way that we learn. It's just, I feel like I upload these videos, and while I'm like kind of watching them back, I realize all this stuff. I'm like, that obvious thing that you could have mentioned, but it's okay. It's alright. If your Mercury is, for saying, an air sign, you're kind of at an advantage because the air is all about thinking, and air signs are naturally intelligent. Not all air signs, but air signs are generally naturally intelligent, and they operate on the intellect. So just like if your moon is in a water sign, which operates on emotions, and the moon operates on emotions, it's just this nice, like, we get along kind of vibes. For earth signs, like Virgo is, like I said earlier, ruled by Mercury, so it's a little easier to have a Virgo Mercury. Virgos also love to talk. I've known a lot of Virgos. I'm a Capricorn, so I get along with them pretty well generally, and like, let me tell you, they're shy at first, and once you know them, they will talk. They love to talk. And so Virgo has an advantage in this Mercury. It's the sign of its rulership, but the other earth signs are slow, they're methodical. That's kind of the way that an Earth Mercury would translate. Is slow, methodical thinking, a lot of planning, very careful, but I find Earth Mercuries are able to achieve a lot in the material world because they think things through, and they plan, and they kind of have a vision. Like, for example, Billie Eilish is a Capricorn Mercury, one of the most successful artists. And, so it's just going to be, like, slow, methodical, more skeptical, and more, like, grounded and realistic. Air Mercuries are going to be very communicative and social, and water Mercuries I feel like they will kind of, the way that they think and talk will kind of put other people at ease, except Pisces, I believe, is in fall in Mercury, so Pisces is all about feeling and internalizing, which is why having a Pisces Mercury is more difficult, because communication is not really about internalizing. It's healthier to be like external, and a Pisces is such an introvert, and they hold things in. So having a Pisces Mercury is a fall. It's in fall, and like that's something that you can Google if you don't know what it means. And I believe it's exalted in the sign of Aquarius, because Aquarius is also about thinking and communicating, but it's also about innovating, and it's kind of like thinking for yourself, like original thought. So, and Aquarius is associated with kind of like genius energy. So whereas like Mercury is very smart and intelligent and like whatever, but like Aquarius just takes it that one step further of also originating thoughts. Not that, that's a whole other thing if there's like original thoughts, but innovative and like creative thinking and visions. And like Aquarius is such a special sign, and I'm like, most of my chart is in Aquarius, so let me like, anyway. And what am I missing? Fire Mercuries. They'll be more impulsive with their communication, more exciting action. They'll just say what's on their mind, and they'll kind of move on quick. And very positive, like fun and lighthearted people to talk to, and funny. That's the word I was looking for. And like every one of these like elements is gonna have their own sense of humor. So, but a fire sign is like kind of about like cracking jokes, and if it's in their Mercury, they love to crack jokes. So, hopefully that gives you kind of an idea, kind of an image. And I really hope I helped out and taught some people about Mercury. I think this stuff is like fascinating. I love it. It's like my passion. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I do sell like readings and stuff, so I will link my Depop below. And yeah, thank you so much. Bye.